What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're taking a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece Gattai Kaen, their final train bot in the Raiden Combiner series. So we're finally reached the end here. This is the final train. We are going to do combine mode, but not in this video. Today we're just going to look at this guy in both train and robot mode. And then in the next video, we'll take a look at the combine mode and everything that can do. Since I got the box set for this guy, it did come with some additional accessories that don't come with the normal figure here. So I will point those out if I bring those out, which accessories are additional compared to just if you bought Kaen on its own without the box set. Let's take a look at the train. It is a nice looking train, like all of them have been, to be honest. It's got some nice orange paint, white paint here, silver or gray on the top, a little bit of silver paint here for the number DE101573. I don't know much about this train, so hopefully you're not depending on me to talk about it. Here's some details. Here's some red lights. You do have the hitch here for the next train, some white detail. All in all, it's a really good looking train. Got some lights up here. You do get the track, of course. Looks like, you know, painted metal, it's not actual metal, and then the plastic here. Just like all the other tracks, they've been different widths, so they're not all the same width, but we'll bring them in a little bit later. But you can put it on a track. This one stays okay. Some of them have fallen off very easy. They're just not aligned well. But this one seems okay. You can also come to the bottom of the track here. And this figure comes with this light sword, which is meant for Raiden. You can also use it for the robot mode, which we'll take a look at later. But if you take apart the light sword and you come to the bottom here, you can see there's a little slot. So you can actually store the light sword down here. You can take the handle and there's a little slot on the top to slide that onto here and in there. And now you can kind of hide that away, store that away. And now you have that look. You also get a little panel for the front of the train. So if you want a more cartoon accurate look, you can unplug this panel right here. Just be careful with it. These white kind of bars are a little bit thin, so you just be careful. You want to pull on the thicker plastic here. But you get this piece right here, which will give you the look of the train in cartoon version. So you can attach this right here, and that's how it looks. And you can close this back up. And now we have a more cartoon looking Kaen. We also get these accessories, which is the flight stand adapter, and now we actually have the flight stand, so I'll show you that. But you're going to come to the bottom here, unpeg this from here, unpeg this from the front. It's tabbed in right here. Make sure you actually pull that out, and then open this up. Bring this down here. You're going to slide this back. Make sure you go in the right direction. Then you can close this up. Make sure you grab that tab again on the side, this side. And then all the previous trains, we didn't get a flight stand with it, but all of them will utilize the tracks here. As you can see, there's two slots. So this is what we get. It looks like, you know, kind of a rust colored. It's not painted, but I believe we've gotten this part before, maybe with MP tracks or something. It is on screws. I do find this one to be a little bit loose. So if I was using this, I would probably tighten those. But this will plug in here. There's a ratchet on the bottom level. And then these are just friction. So you can take this, plug it into there. And now we've got Kaen on the flight stand. You display it like that. I'm not sure I would display it like this if I owned this, or if I was keeping this set, because it doesn't seem very stable. But let's bring in the other trains so you can see this as well. All right, and here are all the trains on the stands. There's 4 of these smaller kinds that we put on Kaen, and then there's 2 of these bigger ones, which are meant for the longer bullet trains here. And I guess this is the gimmick, right? One of the reasons you would get the box set is to get these rust-colored stand pieces, so you can do this, because otherwise you don't get these stand parts. Me personally, I'm not sure I would display it like this because the base connection down here is not the best. This one actually fallen out a couple times, just on my table here, moving it around. So I don't know if I trust displaying it this way, but it does look cool. It is a thing they did in the show. They did fly together, in the air, so you can recreate that from the show. All right, I wanted to show you the trains connected end to end. This is the only space I could find where I could fit them all. So here's the tracks. We'll start from this end. And you can see the tracks are actually different sizes. So it starts out wide, and then it goes, thinner. And then again, there's a different size, and then it goes back wide again. So it's a very strange decision, but you can connect the trains together. There's those little connectors right in between. I will say, to be honest, they're not very stable. They're hard to get connected because the trains buckle, and then once you have them connected, they can come loose. But let's see if we can get this on without completely derailing this thing. But there's your train on the tracks, fully connected. I don't know. It looks alright on display, but it just functionally doesn't work. They like to fall off the track. But there you go. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, a Chug scale figure, and MP10 Optimus Prime. And obviously it doesn't scale with MP, none of them have, but probably would look better in a display with Chug scale figures. Now I know this is the HO scale and they did it on purpose and blah blah blah, but it does not fit with Masterpiece if that's what you're trying to do. My personal opinion, it's better just kind of a set on its own. Alright, now let's get Kaen transformed into robot mode. So come to the side here, we're going to open up this panel, and then we're going to rotate this to the other side and just leave that there for now. We'll take care of this next. You have to undo this from the front, these two little tabs that hold on to that front bumper. But we're not opening it like we did before. We want to bring down this armature, and it's tight, but I'm going to bring this down and just leave that like that. Next, we're going to open up this panel right here. And make sure you bring this up a little bit. Bring this panel down. Rotate this around to the other side. Making sure it clears this side. Then you can close this back down. Bring this down. We're going to close up this little smokestack, whatever it is. Bring this down. We can rotate these black pieces down. That actually makes the bottom of the foot, believe it or not. It's pretty silly. And then leave it like that. So that's one leg. So now we'll take care of this one. So we're going to come to this side, and we're going to separate right here. And we want to separate this panel, bring this down on this hinge. We can open this, and then we're going to open up this tab right here. Then we'll flip this around, and you can close that back up. Flip that little panel in, bring this down, and straighten this up. Make sure this panel on the back is straight. And it's kind of starting to take shape. We can bring this leg down, rotate this around, and this should be plugged in here if it's not already. So tab that in, bring this leg down and rotate around. As you rotate, the thighs will line up. So you can see they were off, they were askew before, and then when you rotate them, they become aligned. Alright, so now we'll take care of this section. In order to rotate this the direction you need, we want to have these rotated forward. We'll rotate this around. We bring these back down. Alright, go ahead and open up this panel here on the back, and then we'll lift up this panel here on the front, which slide to lift up the entire head, and then rotate the head around 180 degrees. And then you can close that back up. And on the front here, and open up these little panels, slide these out, rotate these orange pieces to the back, and that's kind of the chest. Come to the inside, we're going to rotate this black panel down, bring this down, this little tab right here that's going to tab in on his butt. So just plug that in like that. All right, that's what that should look like. Last, we'll take care of this. And I think I forgot to rotate that around. So go ahead and we're going to fold these down. We can come to the front, this panel, rotate that down. We can open up this front cab and then come to here and lift up these arms, rotate them out, slide them out on the sliders, ding this panel down and fold that into there, and bring this back down and fold that there. And then this entire thing is going to accordion up one and then down one on that double hinge. So it should end up storing like that. It actually tabs in. Bring this around and make sure you have the chest all straightened up. But bring this around. Rotate these arm panels down. Little black tab here is going to plug in to the side. You can just leave the arms out for now. Same on this one. Bring this down. Tab that black tab into the side. So it looks like that. You can close these back up. Come to the arm. You're going to slide this out all the way so it rotates. Slide the hand out. The best way I've found is just to pull on the thumb. It's not the best. And then rotate your hand so that it's in the right position. All right, and there's Kaen in robot mode. And he's surprisingly small. I'm on my legend scale mount for my camera because it was just too small to show my masterpiece scale mount. And yeah, I was kind of surprised. When we get to the scale comparisons, I'll show you. But a lot of people have been saying this is masterpiece scale. I don't think so. But let's take a look. It does have some paint on it. You got the orange and kind of this brownish silver here on the chest. A little translucent piece here. The gray for the train shows up nicely. Silver for the face, blue for the eyes. You have a little bit of blue, gray painting on the side, but then the arms and the waist piece are just the swirly gray plastic. You have gray paint down here, which is the top of the train. Feet are a little bit awkward, but you can get it kind of flat. Here's the back. The backpack is actually the best of all of them. It's the most compact and it sits nicely. It doesn't flop around, so that is actually pretty well done. Let's go over his articulation. The head will rotate around. It does have this flap back here, so you can just kind of lift that out of the way, but it does rotate, not really side to side or forward and backwards. Shoulder rotate around on this hinge, out to the side on a hinge. You have a rotation at the bicep. A single joint elbow actually gets you a little bit past 90 degrees. You have a rotation here at the wrist. These hands are the weirdest hands ever. He's got a giant thumb that goes on a hinge out to here. You can't really get it into the right poses, to be honest. It's just very strange. And then the fingers are on a single pin and they're curled, so you can't really do much with that as far as posing is concerned. Cut out of the waist, you really don't get anything. Because of the way the backpack is integrated, this is attached, so you can't rotate, you can't crunch, you can't do anything. No waist movement. The legs will kick up to there on a ratchet. It looks super awkward, but it does. Back to there on a ratchet. Out to the side on a ratchet. The rotation at the thigh, the foot starts coming undone, but rotation at the thigh. A single jointed knee, it's a little bit on the loose side, to be honest. It's a very strange design. That could have used a ratchet. I don't know why they did it like that. Let's see. For the feet, you have ankle tilts, and you have a pivot forward and backward. It can get out of whack, so you just gotta get it. I think it's stored best if you have this wheel on the inside of this peg, because then it sits flatter on the ground. For accessories, we can bring in his blaster here. It's a little bit on the loose side, these parts that I showed you that come apart for the storage and train mode. It's a little bit loose, but if you open up that tab, you can get into his hand, and oddly enough, it doesn't actually fit that great in the hand. Well, correction, it does fit in the hand, but the fingers don't really close around it. You can get like that, and if you try to close the thumb, you'll knock it out, so the thumb actually sits out a little bit. So you can hold the gun. You can also store the gun. So if you fold up the handle, you can have it like a sidearm on his forearm. So you can do that. So you can blast that way. Or if you just want to stow it in the back, there's a little slot right here. You peg it back there, and you can stow that away. We also have his sword, which really meant for Raiden, but you can use this tab down here for his robot mode. And you can close the hand. Like I mentioned, the hands don't really close. You can see the fingers are just barely touching. The thumb isn't closed, but you can do that. So you can hold that. You can also take this, and if you wanted to, you can plug it into his arm, like a sidearm kind of laser beam. Or you can take this and remove the beam and store the hilt back here on his bum. So again, you get storage for that. We can also, if you take this off, we can use the flight stand adapter here. And I think it goes this way. You can slide this in, and then you can use that, just like we did for the other one, plug in the flight stand, which you get only with the box set, and then you can display him, up on that stand. And the last accessory is this train panel here. You can attach it. It's a little bit of a pain. You're going to undo the arms here from the sides. We can tab this back in, and then bring this back down and plug his arms back in, and it's a little bit of a weird fit, honestly. Doesn't quite tab back in, but in theory you can get that stored back there. So if you want a storage for it, there you go. And for quick size comparison, there it is next to the Earthrise Optimus Prime and the Magic Square Optimus Prime. And guys, I don't know what you guys were trying to tell me. All those people who said this is scaled with Masterpiece, there's no possible way. So final recommendations on the Takara Tomy Transformers MPG Kaen. And for me, this barely pulls off a partial recommendation, a 3 out of 5, only because of the train mode. The train mode does look really nice, not only on the tracks, but also in the flight mode. And you had to get the box set in order to get the flight stand, and that box set is $165. So that's why it's a partial recommendation. It really, if you're getting this for the trains, I think you'll like the way it looks. But anything else, it really just doesn't work. Now, we're not talking about combined mode yet. We haven't looked at any of them in combined mode. So just strictly speaking about the robot mode, it doesn't work. It's, first of all, too small. It doesn't scale with anything. I don't even think it scales with the chug scale, to be honest. It's just too small. It also lacks the articulation. There's no waist swivels, there's no ab crunch. The feet are kind of wonky. The knee bend is a little bit on the loose side, just due to the way they designed it. It just doesn't have the professional level that I expect for something called Masterpiece. Now, if you're planning to display in train mode, I think you might be happy. It is still small, but at least it looks good. Now, we haven't talked about combined mode at all, so we are going to look at combined mode in the next video. And all of these trains, we've kind of just looked at the robot mode and alt mode. So for the whole set, I still give them all a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation, just because the train mode is decent. But Stay tuned for the full combined mode review for Raiden. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.